Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel, and it's time for another hard rock and heavy metal update. So, let's just jump in. First up, this first one is definitely some hard rock, but it's a pretty good mix of psychedelic, progressive rock, even a little bit of southern rock and hard rock. I've been looking for this album for a long time. I picked up the band's second album about 2 years ago and really dug it. And one of the first comments that I got from Aaron, the metal theologian, he mentioned I should really check out their first album because it's 10 times better. And I'll be damned if he wasn't right about that. This album absolutely blew me away how good it was. It's amazing from beginning to end, and it's one I highly recommend that you guys keep an eye out for. I picked it up for $8. I've seen it pop up 3 or 4 times over the last couple years. It's usually in bad condition though, and I finally found a copy that's pretty much, the vinyl's pretty much near mint. But this is the debut album from Florida's White Witch. Just a killer album from 71, I believe 72. Like I said, the reviews on this when it came out were horrible, which is funny because if you look at reviews now, people talk about how great and how ahead of its time this album was. I think Rolling Stone gave it 1 out of 5 stars and said that it was, what did they say? The Southern Black Sabbath in all the wrong ways or something like that. It's an amazing album though. If you find it, pick it up. And this one I actually kind of lucked out on. It's actually a I don't know if you can see that, but it's a white label promo, so that was pretty cool as well. But I was really stoked to find that, and then after finding it and giving it a couple of spins, it made me want to pull out their second album, which I hadn't listened to in probably about a year and a half. So I went ahead and pulled out their second album as well. Let's see if I can get some light in here. It's a little bit dark. Next up, still working on grabbing the last few Kiss albums that I was missing. This one I have on cassette tape that I've had since for as long as I can remember. I've also got this on CD, so it's nice to finally have this one on vinyl as well. Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. This is their greatest hits from 88, I think. Yeah, 88. And it is just what it is, just the greatest hits. Next up, this is another one. I see the single for this all the time. I've actually got the single. This is the first time I've ever seen the album. They had it priced at $10, and then where I got it from, everything was 30 or 40% off. So I got it for $6 or $7. But this is the Hearing Aid. And if you're not familiar with this, it's a bunch of heavy metal and hard rockers that got together and wrote this song, Stars. The rest of it is just a comp of live tracks from different people that were involved. And then it's also got a Jimi Hendrix song on here too, which is kind of a weird mix because he was in no way involved in this. But it's still a good little comp. You've got Accept, Dio, Jimi Hendrix, Kiss, Motorhead, Rush, Scorpions, Y&T. Just a really enjoyable listen. This next one, I've been on the lookout for this for years for an original pressing, and I've never seen one. This is kind of one of those cult albums that everybody wants, and it was finally just repressed a few months ago by WYLN Records. But this is Take the Night by Leather Nun. And they did a killer job on this repress. These guys are really good 80s metal, kind of in the vein of Lizzie Borden, maybe a little bit of Malice. But they did it on this translucent red vinyl. They also included a lyric sheet, a download code, and then also this pretty cool poster. So real nice reissue. I've never heard of that record label, so I'm going to check out their website, see if they've done anything else. Like I said, this is one that's been on the list for a long time. So, and it's been shown a couple times at the VCE. I believe Greeno showed it 2 or 3 years ago, and just really got me on the lookout for it. And I was really happy to run across. I actually stumbled across that one on one of the websites. I don't even remember where I got it. Next up. One of the recent Relapse reissues, I've talked about this. This is The Sound of Perseverance from Death. Relapse has just been doing a killer job on these reissues. I love the gold logo. Sounds amazing. This is the final album, the final Death album. Chuck toured for that album. Then concentrated on Control Denied, and he was really just doing Control Denied until he passed away. A little bit different album from the earlier stuff. He went with a higher vocal. It wasn't the lower guttural death growls that he was famous for. But killer album. There's not a Death album that I don't love, and I'm really happy that they're repressing them in such high quality, or such good quality. Next up, Swedish Meddlers Trial. Trial's a really killer band. Sweden is just putting out some amazing stuff, and they have been since the early '90s or late '80s actually. But Trial, unlike bands like Portrait and In Solitude and a couple of the other bands that are more going for that combination of, I guess, King Diamond and Iron Maiden, seems like that's kind of what they all sound like. And you definitely hear a little bit of King Diamond and Iron Maiden in here. But Trial reminds me more of the American or the early U.S. power metal scene. I hear a lot of Hellstar in here. I really hear some early, like the first 3 albums from Fate's Warning in this album, and they just really kill it. I really enjoyed this. And a big shout out to Chemical Warfare, was it Chemical Warfare 86? Nathan, for turning me on to this. This album's really hard to find on vinyl. They only pressed, this is 437 out of 500. And these things were going for like $30-40, and he found it online on one of the websites for like $16.99. And I grabbed it, and it's an amazing album. I like everything that this band has released. So far, from what I heard, though, this is my favorite of their albums. I think I got it from the Chemical Warfare Now website, so you may want to go check and see if it's been a while, so they're probably gone, but it may be worth a check. That's also where I got that Black Death album that I showed a few, maybe 2 or 3 metal updates ago. So they do get some really cool stuff on that website. So I've gotten in the habit of checking it every couple of months. And it seems like every time I go on the website, something new pops up that I really want. So keep an eye on that one, guys. Next up, Black Sabbath Volume 4. We're all familiar with this album. I ran across this one. This is one of the Rhino reissues from, I think, 2012 is when they did these. Maybe 2011. I love these Rhino reissues. These are my favorite pressings of the Sabbath albums, of the Ozzy-era Sabbath albums. I haven't heard the Vertigo pressings, but I think these sound better than the original US pressings. These were done from the original master tapes, and they completely replicated the album artwork as well. So, yeah, this one you've got the green Warner Brothers label. You've got the book on the inside, just as you did with the original pressing. So they've done an awesome job of taking the sticking with the original sound, keeping it all analog, and they've just done a great job of remastering them. They sound amazing. Like I said, these are the best sounding pressings that I've heard. I don't have an original pressing of Volume 4, but I do have original pressing of Bloody Sabbath, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and the Rhino repress, and the Rhino repress sounds better. And it's the same thing with Paranoid as well. I have an original pressing of Paranoid, and then the Rhino repress, which you can see that one there is signed by Ozzy. It's kind of hard to see, but Rhino just did a killer job. Now, it's not the most recent represses that have come out, the double album ones. If you want to check out the difference between the Rhino pressings and the double albums, deluxe editions that just came out, go back and check my video that I did a couple of months, maybe 6 months ago, and you can see it's a night and day difference. The new ones sound good if you're just listening to them. You don't really notice, but when you do a side-by-side comparison of the two albums, it's really like night and day. So anyway, I just talked about that in my last video, so I don't want to beat the proverbial dead horse. Next up, this one I ran across for 12 or 13 bucks. I had always heard how good this band was, and honestly, after listening to this, I'm not really feeling it. I tried to give this a couple spins. It just didn't do anything for me. And this was, I believe, the last album from this band before they split up. The band went on, a couple of guys went on to form Queens of the Stone Age, which I also am not a fan of. I've just never gotten that band. But this is Kyuss, and it's And the Circus Leaves Town. And like I said, it just didn't resonate with me. It didn't do much for me. I've heard that this is not the best album from them. If you have any recommendations of something you might think I'll dig, then let me know. But like I said, that one just didn't do anything for me. Next up, this is one I've meant to get for a long time. I think this is the second pressing. It may be the first, but I think this is the second pressing that Rockadrome has done. They did this on their vintage imprint, but this is Truth and Janie, No Rest for the Wicked. Just killer 70s hard rock. Definitely worth having in the collection. They also just repressed the live albums. These things go, I believe this one goes in the thousands for original pressings. So it's really nice to have this. This was from 76, but just killer hard rock. Next up, this one I ran across, and this is one of those things you got to watch out on YouTube. I still got it for a good price, but I were on YouTube, on eBay. I was on eBay, and this had like 15 minutes left on the auction. It was $2.50, so I went ahead and bid on it. I won it for $2.50, and I didn't check the shipping price. It was $19.99. Which is a bit much, but I was ordering it from Japan, so I paid like 22 bucks for it. Still a great price, but this is Sheer Greed from Girl. This is a killer album. Definitely miscategorized a lot of the time. I see this listed a lot as new wave of British heavy metal. It is definitely not new wave of British heavy metal. Straight up mix of hard rock and glam. It's a great album. I really recommend checking it out if you haven't. You've got Torme, who would go on to form the band Torme and then later play for the LA Guns. You've got I can't think of the guy from one of the guys from Def Leppard. After this he went on to play in Def Leppard. Just a really killer album. I really dig this beginning to end. And actually on the B-side, there's one or two songs where they're kind of touching on reggae, which was kind of popular, in the late 70s, early 80s. You had bands like Eric Clapton doing Bob Marley. You had the Police and Sting kind of adding a reggae feel to their music, and you kind of get a little bit of that on the B-side too. But I really dug this, and again, I highly recommend checking this one out. Next up, This is a really cool Neat Records comp. This one's actually on Roadrunner. This is the Dutch pressing of this, but in the U.S. this was on Neat Records. This is Metal Battle, the new generation heavy metal sampler, and this is from '83. Really good cross section of new wave of British heavy metal. Though you've got Raven with Anvil, you've got a little bit of pre-thrash there. You got Battle Axe, Merciful Fate, Tank, Venom, Jaguar, Witchfind, Hellenbach, Satan, and Santers. So you can't go wrong with this. I picked this one up for like $7. I would prefer to have had the Neat Records pressing, but you know, I'm definitely cool with this. But there you go. I know what we're listening to in the back isn't really metal, but I've been looking for this. I actually just found this on vinyl, and I can't wait to get it in. This is Peter Green era Fleetwood Mac. If you're not familiar with this era of Fleetwood Mac, man, you're missing out. This is not the pop-laced Fleetwood Mac of Stevie Nicks and what's the other guy's name? And Buckingham. Peter Green is one of the all-time great blues guitarists, British blues guitarists. The guy was absolutely amazing. The song Green Monalishi that was really made famous by Judas Priest is a Peter Green song. Black Magic Woman, which was made famous by Santana, is a Peter Green song, and he blows them both out of the water. This is the greatest hits from 71, I think it was when it was originally pressed. But every song on here is absolutely amazing, and the guitar work is phenomenal. I've been looking for this on vinyl for years and years and never been able to find it. Actually, I found it once. It was like $45. But I ran across this CD a couple of days ago, and then shortly after that I was messing around on the internet and found out that Music on Vinyl just repressed this. And so I highly recommend picking up this early Fleetwood Mac Greatest Hits. So last but not least, one of the great metal albums. I believe that a good portion of the best of new wave of British heavy metal lists list this as number 1. I actually list this as number 2 behind Iron Maiden, but I can definitely see why people select this as number 1. And this is an amazing album from beginning to end. This is the debut from Angel Witch. And it does not get much better than this album. I've wanted this on vinyl for years. I had a tape of it, a dub tape of it, back in the 90s, and I played the heck out of it. This album just always blew me away. Original pressings are pretty expensive. It was only repressed once, I think, and those go for pretty crazy money. And then finally, just recently, this label, what is it? I don't even see the name of the label. Is it Sanctuary? Sanctuary, or Real Gone Music, just did this repress. It says limited edition of 1,000. It's on this kind of cool red and beige vinyl, but it's a beautiful sounding repress. I think Reno said that they've done a couple of other represses since this as well, so I'm gonna check out their website, see what else they got going on. But I'm super stoked to finally have this on vinyl. So that's pretty much it, VC. I'm sure I'll have another video coming soon. I've still got a whole bunch of stuff to show and a whole bunch I'm listening to, so you'll be seeing me again soon. Take care.